welcome back to Eat This Girl podcast. We're so glad that you're here and joining us wherever you might be. We are really excited to continue with the Gospel of John today, but before we do that, we always like to start our episodes with some kind of fun, either just a silly question that helps get to know us a little better or something a little deeper. And today we're going a little deeper. So the question for today is, what is your worst habit, and what is something that is keeping you from breaking said habit? Or like, what is something that you need to change to help break it?
Oh my gosh. Well, I initially thought, because we were talking about this before, I initially thought, oh, being late is my worst habit. I'm not on time ever to anything. Well,
I actually think that has changed a lot since you have had Elena.
I've gotten better compared to a few years ago. There's been some progress.
Yeah.
Still not great at it, but I was thinking that, but then I was like, okay, but why am I late? And it's procrastination. So I guess that's my worst habit.
Okay.
Just like waiting until the last minute to get ready, waiting until the last minute to prepare, XYZ, I don't know. And why can I not kick it? I don't know. Do you know? Can you see inside? And
you?
Tell me why? Like, or what's the question? What would it take to kick it? Or
Yeah, like what's something that is keeping you from breaking that bad habit?
breaking the bad habit?
So really, like, what is the cause of it that you need to change?
I guess a lack of discipline? I don't know.
Yeah. You know, for me, because I also can procrastinate super bad.
Yeah.
I feel like cause of that for me, which this might be for you as well, is like, I think that I have too much confidence in myself.
Oh, you're overestimating yourself.
Yes, like I am, like, for example, getting ready. This is something that my husband drives him nuts. I just think that I can do more
in 10 minutes
than what I can.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I also think that I don't accurately plan for everything that I, like, in my head, I'm like, okay, what do I need to do before I head out the door? Like, I need to brush my teeth, I need to put my makeup on, and I need to grab my stuff and go. But I don't think about okay, I also need to tie my shoes, I also need to put my jewelry on. Like, you know, there's like those little things, like, oh, I need to fill up my water bottle. And it's those little things that wind up making me late for stuff, because I just think about, like, the big
to-dos.
The big to-dos, and I don't add up all the little things that only take, like, 30 seconds each. But if you have, like, you know, 10 30-second tasks that you have to do before you get out the door, that puts you wind up being 5 minutes late to something.
Yes. That makes total sense. I've definitely experienced that, for sure.
So I don't know if that's the case for you, but that is definitely a thing for me.
I don't know if it's, like, the main reason. I think one of the main reasons is that I often feel like I have too much to do. And I become paralyzed in that.
Yes.
Like,
what is that called?
I don't know. It's like, I've read about it, though.
Decision paralysis or something like that?
Something like that. I get this when I get this way when I get behind on house chores, too. Like, I have so much to do that I'm just, like, looking at everything, and I get overwhelmed, and I just get stuck.
Yeah.
I think I do that in my day, you know, kind of like what you're talking about. I think of all these things I have to do before I can actually walk out the door. And if it's, like, too much, then I just kind of, like, freeze, and then I end up late.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I get that.
That's what's happening in my head, I think.
Yeah. So maybe, like, a way for you to overcome that would be to, like, I don't know, like, the other day you were talking about how much you are really enjoying lists.
Yeah.
Maybe you just need, like, some consistent lists for all those things that cause you to get overwhelmed, and then you can, like, visualize it better. You just start at the top and work your way down.
I need, like, my process for everything.
Yeah,
I need
like
to
a
see
get out the door list.
I need to see it visually.
Yeah.
That helps me so much. I'm a visual learner for sure. Yeah, that's a good idea.
But I do really think you've gotten a lot better
Thank you.
Especially since Lane. And I think maybe that's just the fact that being a mom, you just have to plan out more.
Oh my
because,
gosh.
you know.
Yes.
Like, if you're going to get to work, you have to make sure that your child is taken care of before you get to work kind of thing. And
oh
so
my gosh, you have to start so much earlier.
Yeah, it kind of forces you to be a little more on top of things. But yeah.
Thanks. What's yours?
That's something I have noticed my time management over the last, 6 to 8 months has gotten progressively worse, I think.
Okay.
And I think part of that is what I was just telling you. I just,
Yeah.
I forget about everything that has to get done in a certain amount of time. But I am actively working on that. That was one of my goals. I didn't set New Year's resolutions.
Yeah.
I am trying to approach this year on a month-to-month basis.
That's so good. I love that.
And so one of my goals for this month has been I want to be 5 minutes early to everything. I wouldn't call that my worst habit though, because I am not perpetually late.
You're definitely not.
I'm just not. I'm not ever early.
Yeah.
And so I feel like
you're
I'm always,
perpetually on time.
Yes, and I feel like I'm always rushing, and I don't want to feel like I'm rushing all the time. My worst habit. This is not a widespread habit, but it is something that I do, especially with my husband. It really frustrates him. I get super defensive super quickly. Especially if it's if Kyle is trying to, I just realized I said so many times.
That's okay. Maybe that's your worst habit.
It is one of my worst habits. Although I haven't really tried on that. But if he is just trying to give me, some, what's it called?
Constructive
criticism. Yes. Yeah. I get defensive so fast, and it's I can't receive it. And I think I do that with other people too, but it's just not outward.
I've never noticed that you do it with me.
I'm better at curbing it with other people.
Yeah.
It doesn't actually come out, but the response is there. And I think I feel safe enough with Kyle to just let it out and get defensive about whatever it is he's critiquing versus if it's our boss, that's different. I'm not going to defend myself. I'm just going to be oh my gosh, yes, you're right. I'm terrible.
I'm so sorry. I quit.
Yeah. But if it's Kyle, I get super defensive. And I have been trying to be really aware of that. I think the thing that is maybe getting in the way of me breaking that habit is the fact, I think a lot of it is just a self-worth thing, which I have been working on.
Yeah.
So I think I am viewing myself, or I'm assuming that he is viewing me the way that I'm viewing myself in that moment. You know what I mean? I'm just less than, and so I need to try and make myself not seem that way.
Yeah.
And that's not how he's viewing me. He just genuinely is oh, I would want you to be better in this because I know it's good for you.
Yeah. And
I don't view it as that. I view it as someone thinks that you're just bad and you need to defend
criticism. Oh my gosh. I heard the coolest, it was a podcast, I don't know who it was, so I'm sorry I cannot give you credit. It was an older woman talking about how women criticize men because they think that's what's going to make them change when criticism only works on women.
Really?
Criticism is what makes us want to be different and makes us want to change.
Oh my gosh.
Generally. Obviously.
No, but I can totally see
obviously,
that.
I'm sure there are some exceptions, but that's what she said. Criticism changes women, and so...
I think it's affirmation that helps men more.
And that's what she said. Affirmation and respect. We think that, because it's kind of like the same thing as love languages. Your easiest way... because my love language is words of affirmation, my easiest way to give love is going to be words of affirmation.
Yes.
And so the thing that changes me is criticism. I'm going to automatically default to criticism is going to change you. When men are completely different from women.
Yeah.
They change when they are encouraged, affirmed, respected, really pushed up.
Yeah. Not to say that women don't need that, but yeah. I can definitely see, of course I love getting affirmed.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna like light the fire under me,
Mm-hmm.
be like, hey, this is not good. You know?
Yeah, because
And,
it is a self-worth thing.
Yeah.
When we're criticized, we're like, oh my gosh, that has something to do with my value.
like, I am less than right
And
now.
that is a motivator.
Yes.
Because we want to be valued.
Even if people don't mean it that way. Like, that's
Yeah.
not at all. Like, when Kyle brings something like that to me, it's not because he thinks any less of me or he values me.
Right.
Any less. It's actually that he values me so much and he can see potential where maybe I am blind to it because sometimes we're just blind to our own.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think that's a shift I am trying to make in my mind is he's not saying this because I have less value. He's saying it because he sees so much value in me.
So much potential.
Yes.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. I also wonder if maybe it has something to do with, like, because Kyle knows you better than anybody.
Yeah.
And he's seen the deepest layers and the rawest forms of you, that receiving criticism from him hurts more than it would from anybody else.
Yeah.
Because he's, like, seen the most honest version of yourself.
Yes. I also think by his nature is to be very, like, straightforward to the point where it can feel harsh.
So is Derek.
And very early on in our
Yeah.
relationship, he didn't realize that did not work for me.
Yeah.
And so he had to, like, learn how to approach me in it. And
Yeah.
so I think maybe there's something in my brain that the moment he starts to bring anything like that up, I
goes back
revert
to-
back to when he was really harsh about it and it hurt me. And
Yeah.
he's not that way. Like, now he's so gentle and kind and it really is loving in the way that he does it.
Yeah.
And it's me who is still stuck back there. And, like, that's
Yeah.
not fair to him either because then it's discrediting all of the work he has done.
To be more gentle.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's what I want to work on.
That's really
That's
great.
the habit that I'm trying to
That's
fix.
great.
Yes.
Truly.
Yeah.
That's so good. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Love
great.
it.
Cool. So now
Moving
you guys
on.
know a little bit more about how imperfect we are.
Yeah. We just hung up our dirty laundry for you.
Yes. All right.
We're getting into John chapter 2 today. It's a bit shorter than John chapter 1 and John chapter 3. You said
Yeah.
John chapter 3 is...
John chapter 3 is about, it's not as long as chapter 1, but it's longer than chapter 2.
Yeah. So we're just going to jump into it, starting off with Jesus turning water into wine.
Yay.
One of his first miracles.
His very first miracle.
I'm excited.
You want to read or you want me to start?
I'll go for it.
All right.
We started last time, so... Where do you want me to go to?
Mine has a break after verse 12.
Okay, so does mine. Ooh, I looked ahead. I found some notes. I'm so excited. Okay. John 2, verse 1. The next day, there was a wedding celebration in the village of Cana in Galilee. Jesus' mother was there, and Jesus and his disciples were also invited to the celebration. The wine supply ran out during the festivities, so Jesus' mother told him, "They have no more wine." This is another where I just imagine Jesus saying it in such like a, probably not the way he said it. Dear woman. Like, I imagine him with a British accent because of how he says this.
Here in mine, it doesn't say dear. It literally just says woman.
Woman? That's even worse. Woman? Dear woman, that's not our problem.
That ain't my problem. Why you telling me about this?
99 problems, and the wine is not one. Dear woman, that's not our problem, Jesus replied. My time has not yet come. But his mother told the servants, do whatever he tells you.
She's like, I don't care what you said. I'm your mother, and you're fixing this.
Yes. She's like, he'll come around. Just like
Yeah.
Verse 6. Standing nearby were 6 stone water jars used for Jewish ceremonial washing. Each could hold 20 to 30 gallons. Jesus told the servants, fill these jars with water. When the jars had been filled, he said, now dip some out and take it to the master of ceremonies. So the servants followed his instructions. This is funny because he immediately goes back on what he just said.
Yeah.
And is like, Mama said.
Like, all right. Honor thy mother and thy father.
Once they were filled with water, he said, now dip some out and take it to the master of ceremonies. So the servants followed his instructions. When the master of ceremonies tasted the water that was now wine, not knowing where it had come from, though of course the servants knew, he called the bridegroom over. A host always serves the best wine first, he said. Then, when everyone had had a lot to drink, he brings out the less expensive wine. But you have kept the best until now. This miraculous sign at Cana in Galilee was the first time Jesus revealed his glory, and his disciples believed in him. After the wedding, he went to Capernaum for a few days with his mother, his brothers, and his disciples.
First thing, so in my version, in verse 1, it says, on the third day, a wedding took place at Cana in Galilee.
Wait, your verse 7 says...
Verse 1.
Oh.
It says, on the third day, which yours just says... How does your verse 1 start?
Mine says the next day, but then it has an asterisk that says Greek, on the third day.
So that's super interesting to me because this is the very first miracle that Jesus performs on the third day, and his final miraculous occurrence on earth before his resurrection was his resurrection on the third day. And I just love when things are bookended like that.
Yeah,
in the
that's
Bible.
Cool.
I think it just speaks to, like, I just feel like that's God being kind of sneaky and like, oh, like, look how cool I can be.
Like, I wonder if they'll notice this.
How intentional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really cool, yeah. Let's see what kind of notes we got. Unless you just initially have any takeaways.
Oh, there's a note where it says, woman, why do you involve me? There's a note in mine that says, the Greek for woman...
why do you involve me?
Yes. Woman, why do you involve me? My hour has not yet come. But there's a note and it says, the Greek for woman does not denote any disrespect.
Okay. I would have not.
They're making note. Jesus is not disrespecting his mother here.
No.
She was literally just calling her woman because that is what she is.
Woman.
But I do think that this whole interaction is so funny because it shows... it is such a beautiful representation of the humanity of Jesus and also the, godness of Jesus that he is so human to just, his mother thinks he should do this and so he has to do it.
Yeah.
And yet he's so God because he turns water into wine.
Yeah.
That is...
Two sides of a coin, really.
Yeah, and you see it so wonderfully represented in this story, and you see this all the time, but it's just so blatant in this story that he is so human and yet so God at the same time.
Yeah. That's what one of my notes says. It says, Mary submitted to Jesus' way of doing things. She recognized that Jesus was more than her human son. He was the Son of God. When we bring our problems to Christ, we may think we know how he should take care of them, but he may have a completely different plan. Like Mary, we should submit and allow him to deal with our problems as he sees best.
I love that. But I also love that she didn't fully.
She really, didn't. She was like, he's going to come around, just listen.
Yeah, he knows what to do.
He knows what
She kind of just threw it at him and...
was like,
yeah.
Hands off. Here's the problem.
Which I wish that we could see if,
facial
Jesus... Facial expressions, but also if Jesus had, another conversation with her about it later on. Once they got back home, you think he was ever just like, Mom, what the heck?
What the heck, yeah.
I said it was not my time.
Yeah.
Why'd you do this?
I don't know, probably. That's really funny. Let's see. This is, about, weddings in that culture. Weddings in Jesus' day were week-long festivals. Banquets would be prepared for many guests, and the week would be spent celebrating the new life of the married couple. Often the whole town was invited. Can you imagine inviting your whole town to your wedding? Absolutely not. It was considered an insult to refuse an invitation to a wedding. To accommodate many people, careful planning was needed. To run out of wine was more than embarrassing. It broke the strong, unwritten laws of hospitality. Jesus was about to respond to that heartfelt need.
Wow.
Yeah, because you think about, he was saving the reputation, the embarrassment. He was doing really, a relational thing for whoever this couple was.
Yeah.
It's really sweet.
It is sweet. And they didn't even know that they got, a wedding present from God.
Yeah, they probably, because...
It was only the servants who drew up the water.
They're the only ones that knew.
Them and the disciples.
But the master of ceremonies didn't know, and he's the one that told the couple.
Yeah, the hosts didn't know.
Wow.
That just is a really beautiful picture of all the things that the Lord does for us.
That we will never know about.
That we don't even know about, and yet it makes our life so much better.
Yeah.
And it benefits us, and it protects our reputations.
Yeah.
And think of all of the little pieces and things that he's doing and
Behind the
moving
scenes.
in order to ensure that we have the best of the best.
Yeah.
And we don't even realize most of it.
We'll never see. I think about that all the time. I'm like, I wonder what God protected me from today.
Yeah.
Because a billion things can happen. Like,
yeah.
I wonder, it's really cool.
Yeah, that was something that Kyle prayed over us this morning. It was like, he said, Lord, thank you for protecting us even when we don't, know what it is, or we don't even feel like we need it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, thank you for protecting us from the things that we don't even know are there.
You won't see.
Yeah. I think it's interesting that in verse 6 it says, nearby stood 6 stone water jars, the kind used by the Jews for ceremonial washing. And I wonder what the significance is there, that the jars that he is using, yes, and it's on okay, listen.
It's not a coincidence.
So you think about the Last Supper.
I know where you're tracking with this.
And the wine, that was his blood, and prior to doing it, he washes their feet.
With the water from the ceremonial jugs.
And then they go on to partake in the Lord's Supper, drinking of the wine. And here he's using the water from the ceremonial washing jars that he is then going to turn into wine. It's another one of those beautiful bookended moments.
Yeah,
where
that is really good.
Like, they don't even realize that Jesus is alluding to this massive, incredible historical moment that he's going to have with the disciples.
That's really cool. I never thought of it like that.
That's very cool.
I love that.
That is very, very cool.
I have another note that says, almost every miracle Jesus did was a renewal of fallen creation. Restoring sight, making the lame walk, even restoring life to the dead. Believe in Christ, not because he is a Superman, but because he is God who continues his creation, even in those who are poor, weak, crippled, orphaned, blind, deaf, or have some other desperate need. That's sweet.
That's sweet.
Look it up, girl.
Yeah, something about the ceremonial washing thing is just...
Yeah, let's stick with it. Let's go. Let's ride it out.
Let's see. For ceremonial washing...
Oh my gosh.
What?
In our next video, we're going to be talking about Nicodemus.
Ooh! John 3:16. Okay, so in other versions, it is the water pots for the Jewish custom of purification, which I love that phrasing.
Because we're drinking wine that's his blood that was shed for us, and that water was used for purification, and his blood is what washes us clean.
Yes, so the different definitions for this are it's a cleansing, purification, a ritual purgation or washing. And there's 3 different aspects of it. So one is of the washing of the Jews before and after their meals, of Levitical purification of women after childbirth.
Interesting.
Which is interesting because later on in John, he talks about how...
Being saved by childbirth.
Yes, but I was thinking about in John 16, he's talking to his disciples about how they will be grieving while the world rejoices and all of that. Yeah. And he's basically saying that you will be like a woman who has given birth.
Yeah.
And you experience the pains now, but then you'll have the joy of
you'll forget
having the child and all of that. Anyways, and then the third one is a cleansing from the guilt of sins wrought by the expiatory sacrifice of Christ. So the fact that he is performing his first miracle with these jars of water that are meant for this type of, sanctification and purification, and one of the aspects of that purification is literally being cleansed of your sins by him.
Wow.
And he is like offering up a prelude to that. And it's that he turned that water into the wine, which represents his blood, which is the thing that purifies.
Man.
Crazy.
That's so cool.
I just love it.
That's why we do this.
Yes.
That's why we do this.
Man, that's so good.
That is so good. I had a thought, but it left me. Oh, I was going to say, what were they using the water jugs for anyways?
They were probably there.
Do you think they were going to wash each other's feet at the wedding?
No, I bet they were probably there for the purpose of cleansing before and after the meal, because that was one of the washing of the Jews before and after their meals is one of the forms of that purification. So I assume
That's pretty cool.
that it had something to do
Love.
with that.
Good job making that connection.
Thanks. Oh, this commentary, it says that the fact that he mentions that this is this Jewish custom of the ceremonial washing is another indication that John is writing to an audience that includes Gentiles, because such an observation would be unnecessary if he were only writing to the Jews.
Yeah.
So John is making a point to clarify the purposes of these different pots and things that a Jewish audience would automatically...
He's giving context so that we know what the heck is going on.
Yes. It says, moreover, and as will be explained in a moment, there seems to be something significant about the fact that Jesus used 6 stone water pots for purification
6?
instead of any common vessels or jars. First century Jews used stone pots as opposed to clay pots for ceremonial purification practices. They did this because stone did not retain impurities like other common pottery substances of the day, thus enabling their users to better observe Mosaic laws about ceremonial purification, which is listed in Leviticus. Stone was viewed as a fitting receptacle for the living waters required for ritual purification. In the Old Testament, living or flowing water was understood simply as running water, that is, not a stagnant source. As it happens, contemporary historians and archaeologists have been able to corroborate this detail in John's account because stone water pots from the 1st century matching John's description have been discovered all across Judea and in Cana specifically. Jesus next transforms the contents of the ritual purification vessels to make something superior. Symbolically, this filling of the purification water pots may show 2 things. First, it may symbolize how Jesus came to fulfill the law and or replace the temporary and superficial Jewish means of purification, because he is the living water.
This is so good.
Jesus came to fulfill the law, similar to how the water filled the empty stone water pots. The law was good in that it provided instruction from God, but despite having a knowledge of the law, no one was able to keep and fulfill it. The psalmist asks, "Who may ascend to the hill of the Lord, and who may stand in his holy place?" He answers, "He who has clean hands and a pure heart." As the Lamb of God who takes away the sin of the world, Jesus had both clean hands and a pure heart. Jesus came to fulfill the law, similar to how the water filled the empty stone water pots. The second thing, the filling of the purification water pots.
Can I pause you?
Yes.
Because I feel like it's about to move away from the fact that it's stone. It reminded me of living water coming out of the stone that Moses struck.
Oh my gosh! Shut up! You're so right! I love how many connections there are.
You know?
Yes.
Because it said because stone was the purest.
Yes.
Or the best way to keep water pure or something.
Because it doesn't hold impurities like other
It doesn't hold
things do.
impurities. And the water that came out of the stone when Moses and the Israelites were in the wilderness came from heaven. Because it was under the umbrella of manna, right?
Yes.
Like food from heaven. So, of course, if it came from heaven, it was pure.
Yeah. Wow. And the fact that that water was given even when Moses disobeyed
Yeah.
in the way that he was supposed to retrieve said water.
Yeah.
And that Jesus comes to be the living water even in the midst of our disobedience, even in the midst of, like, the Jewish people who he came for disregarding him.
Yeah.
You know, it's really amazing.
That's so juicy. Good grief.
The second thing the filling of the purification water pots may symbolize is how Jesus came to offer real purification. Jesus came to cleanse the heart. The cleaning Jesus provides is more than a superficial custom of purification. At the conclusion of his ministry, Jesus chastised the religious leaders of his day for obsessing over their ceremonial hand-cleaning rituals while ignoring the greater matters of their heart. Jesus offers a cleansing of the heart that lasts. This interpretation is further supported by how Jesus will later declare in John that rivers of living water will flow from the heart of anyone who believes in him. Man, and there's more, but that's so good.
Is that, what commentary was that? Was that Chuck?
No, it's literally, it's a commentary called The Bible Says.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's so good. I'm so glad you caught that.
That's juicy.
That is really juicy.
And I have never taken time
eating
to
the scroll.
unpack that before.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah. Man, that's so good.
I never made that connection.
I love that. Another thing that I love about this story is how quick to obey the servants were. Like, Mary just said, hey, do whatever he says, and they did.
I wonder if they knew that he was... No.
There's no way.
Oh, because he hadn't revealed his glory yet.
He hadn't revealed himself. And
yeah.
So, but they were still so quick to respond, and I wonder...
Okay, hear me out. I know that The Chosen takes creative liberties, but in this episode of The Chosen, it shows that... I could be wrong, because it's been a couple years since I've watched it, but wasn't Mary, Jesus' mom, very, very close friends with the parents of the bridegroom and the bride?
At
least that's the way they depict it in the episode.
Yeah.
And so
they definitely have some kind of relationship.
The servants probably knew Jesus as closely related to the bridegroom's family.
Maybe.
He wasn't just this, like, random man that was a guest. I don't know if that's true or not. That's just how the episode showed it, and so could be wrong.
It's highly probable that Jesus and his family knew the wedding couple well, likely as close friends or relatives, because his mother Mary was involved in the hosting.
Yeah, so that's why they listened to him, I think, without knowing that he's the Messiah, is because his mother said to.
Which I think we know that she was involved in the hosting in some way because she directed the servants, and they would not have taken direction from her if she hadn't already been involved in... True. So yes, that gives validity.
That tracks.
Validity to it. Okay. Anything else about those? Oh, I do love at the end that it says that this was the first of the signs through which he revealed his glory, and his disciples believed in him through this moment. So even though publicly he wasn't revealing himself yet, he showed his glory to his disciples. Yeah.
And I wonder, because we talked about in John 1, like, there were a couple different accounts of him saying, "Come follow me." So that means that even at that point, they didn't necessarily believe. Maybe they just had this, like, Holy Spirit pull that's like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to go.
Yeah.
And then Jesus proved himself to them through his miracles to be the Son of God. And that's when they started to believe.
And in this next section we're going to read, I think it speaks more to that. Because I'll explain when we get to the next section. But I think you're right. I think that they... Like, even his disciples who walked alongside him had to see the things play out.
Yeah.
In order to have full belief in who he was.
Yeah.
You know?
I think that really, like... Because you think if you saw Jesus right in front of you, you'd believe that he's the Son of God.
You'd think. Yeah.
You'd think. But really, it's so thoughtful that Jesus would... just consciously, like, do miracles in front of them because he understands their humanity and he understands that that just alone, like, they would struggle to believe. Just him
Yes.
alone, they would struggle to believe if he didn't have maybe the evidence of
I think you're right, yeah.
his miracles, or I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just where my
he
thought was
probably
going.
knew all of their preconceptions and all of their
he
assumptions.
knows everything.
And also he just, like, knows the human heart. And
Yeah, so he was like, they're gonna need this.
Yes.
And I'm gonna give it to them. Because
Yeah.
they need it.
yeah, why not?
Why not?
I love that about him.
Yeah, that's very thoughtful, kind.
Yes.
John chapter 2.
John chapter 2, let's see, verse 13. And this should finish out chapter 2.
Nice.
When it was almost time for the Jewish Passover, Jesus went up to Jerusalem. In the temple courts, he found people selling cattle, sheep, and doves, and others sitting at tables exchanging money. So he made a whip out of cords and drove all from the temple courts, both sheep and cattle. He scattered the coins of the money changers and overturned their tables. To those who sold doves, he said, "Get these out of here. Stop turning my Father's house into a market." His disciples remembered that it is written, "Zeal for your house will consume me." The Jews then responded to him, "What sign can you show us to prove your authority to do all this?" Jesus answered them, "Destroy this temple and I will raise it again in 3 days." They replied, "It has taken 46 years to build this temple and you are going to raise it in 3 days?" But the temple he had spoken of was his body. After he was raised from the dead, his disciples recalled what he had said. Then they believed the scripture and the words that Jesus had spoken. Now, while he was in Jerusalem at the Passover festival, many people saw the signs he was performing and believed in his name. But Jesus would not entrust himself to them, for he knew all people. He did not need any testimony about mankind, for he knew what was in each person. I love this
Wait,
moment.
what did you read through? Oh. I see.
Just through the rest of chapter 2. So
Mine separated it differently. I got
this
a little
is
confused.
this is a big moment when Jesus overthrows the tables in the temple and drives people out, and it shows his zeal, which is like, this is where I was saying that the disciples believing him because they saw these things happen. This proves that more, that they're seeing him have such zeal for the house of God, and they're remembering the scripture in the Old Testament that says that he would. And so they see him doing the things that scripture says he would do, and they're like, "Oh,
this is our God."
Yes, and then again,
he's fulfilling prophecies. This is him fulfilling one of the prophecies.
Yes. And then again in verse 22, after he said, he's talking about his body, this temple being destroyed, I'll raise it again in 3 days. And when he was raised, after he was raised from the dead, verse 22, his disciples recalled what he had said. Then they believed the scripture and the words that Jesus had spoken. So it wasn't until after he had risen from the dead and they were looking back and they said, "Oh yeah, he said this. You remember when he said this?" Mm-hmm. And then they finally fully believed. So even the disciples' belief didn't come to completion until his resurrection.
That makes me honestly feel so much better.
Yeah.
Because I was talking to Jenny about this a couple months ago. Just about how oftentimes, and this is just the way I work, I know a lot of people are able to see it in real time, like God moving pieces and doing all the things. I would say 90% of the time don't realize what God was doing until after it's already done.
Yeah.
Like when I'm reflective and I look back, I'm like, "Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That was him. This is him doing this. Like that's how he was working in me." All these different little puzzle pieces happening and coming together. But I think that there is a gift where you can see it in real time. I don't know what that's called. I don't have it. But is that one of the gifts?
Honestly, I think because even in this, like, after he changed the water into wine and it says, this was one of the first signs through which he revealed his glory and the disciples believed. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think you get bits and pieces
Yeah.
where, like, the things that he's doing in his glory are revealed to you, and you get a little bit more belief.
It's like a
because of
rabbit
that.
trail.
Yes, but I honestly don't know that he would ever give that full revelation
In the
right in the
moment.
moment to anyone, because not having it all allows us to exercise our faith.
Yeah, you're right.
You know?
You're
and
right.
he wants our faith to be built for our benefit. Like, it really doesn't make a difference to him
Yeah.
if our faith is great or not, because he's still God. He can do it
Yeah.
without our faith.
Yeah.
But it makes a big difference for us when we can believe in it, and we can also, like, have confidence in our own faith that, okay, I have this faith, and it has been proven, and I've exercised this, and I know that it is built upon something.
Makes you want
what
to
I
do it
mean?
again. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have evidence.
Versus if we just knew everything automatically and why
Yeah.
he was doing all the things. Like,
Yeah. It makes total sense. And I've, like, spent a lot of time, like, wishing. Like, man, I wish I, like, saw it in real time. Like, maybe I would have done something different. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But reading this, that even the disciples who had Jesus right in front of them didn't even realize it until after the fact. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I don't feel that. I guess,
Yeah.
it's not uncommon.
Yes.
For me to be the way that I am and have to reflect to really be able to discern God's hand in a situation. And I think you're so right about the faith. That makes total sense.
Like, I think about that in, like, Peter, for example, who walked along Jesus all this time and was the one who first was able to say, you are the Messiah. And yet denied him not long after that.
Yeah.
And the fact that, like, I just wonder how much greater did Peter's faith become and his ability to lead the establishment of the church because he had that faltering moment where he denied Christ because he couldn't fully get behind it yet. And then after the resurrection, his faith was brought up to such a level that he was like, I'm all in. Like, I get it now. I see, and I was wrong.
Yeah.
And Jesus redeemed him of that, and then he was able to lead, like, establish the church.
It's crazy.
Wild.
That's so good. Yeah, I love that. Do you have anything else to say about that?
Not about that, no.
Okay, I just get so excited. The last time I was reading this was another just teeny little thing that I loved. Verse, 17 in mine says, Then his disciples remembered this prophecy from the scriptures, passion for God's house will consume me. And so David actually said that.
Psalm 69:9.
Yeah, in Psalm 69:9, David said, concern for God's house will be my undoing. And I loved that because as someone who works in a church, works in God's house, like, our concern for the house of the Lord should be that. We should be so concerned for the purity of the church that we react like Jesus reacts.
Yeah.
David reacted like this.
Yeah.
It's going to be his undoing. The state of the church will
And the
be
fact
his
that it
undoing.
was the undoing of Christ.
Yeah.
Like, he was so concerned for the purity of the church that he gave his life for the purity of the church.
Yeah.
Oh, who would have that?
Who would have thought? I just love, like, I love that as a person who is in the position that I'm in. It's not a huge position, but it's still a position to where I see things from, like, kind of a different perspective. And I'm like, man, I know we try to do our best, but I feel like at least I can just be so lazy sometimes.
Yeah.
With just, like, how I see the church.
Yeah.
When really, like,
Our standards by things.
Our standards and our passion for things as church leaders should be intense.
Yes.
And not, like, well, condemning for some things.
Yes.
But also not condemning all the time.
Yeah.
You know, but just really, like, intentionally analyzing,
Yes.
like, our house of worship, and are we dealing earnestly with what happens inside of our walls,
Yes.
type thing. Like, I
Totally
feel convicted about that, and I love, yeah, it's just so good. That part was so good to me.
I love that too. I actually that psalm in Psalm 69, I have those verses highlighted for this reason. Like, I just think we should do it. But
Which one? Sorry.
so it's Psalm 69:9
Oh,
is
yeah.
that particular reference, but 7 through 9 are really amazing. So Psalm 69 7 through 9. For I endure scorn for your sake, and shame covers my face. I am a foreigner to my own family, a stranger to my own mother's children. For zeal for your house consumes me, and the insults of those who insult you fall on me. So we should feel so strongly for the Lord's house that should someone insult the Lord, it feels like a direct insult to us.
Yeah, 100%.
You know?
And that's where I think, like, people, when we embody this, that's when people begin to think that we are too much, too serious, too legalistic, all these things.
Yeah.
But I feel like the older I get, the more I'm learning that, like, there's a difference in legalism and holiness.
Yes. What was that? We were talking about this a while ago.
And this is actually commanded, well, first of all, David felt it, and David was a man after God's own heart. Second of all, Jesus embodied this and acted on it in the temple.
Yeah.
And so we should also
Yes.
hold these views and stick to them and be passionate about it.
Yeah.
And not really care the labels that people are going to put on us, self-righteous, judgmental, all these things.
Yeah.
Just because it's one thing for, like, a Christian out in the world accountable to himself, nobody's watching him, but
When you're accountable to God?
accountable in the Lord's house
Yeah.
is a different thing, and I think we should take it a bit more seriously than we do.
Yes. So I went to a prayer conference in October, and one of the speakers was talking about purity of church leadership and how you can uphold righteous character as a church leader and not fall into all of these traps that we're seeing so many.
People fall from grace.
Yes, they're just dropping like flies, it feels like. And one of the things that he said that just really, really stuck with me was that we should have self-imposed legalism.
Yeah.
And like, that sounds so harsh, but it really is. It's like this thing where people look at it as you're just being so legalistic and you're being so strict, and like, oh my gosh, you won't even ride in the car with someone of the opposite sex who's not your husband. Why wouldn't you do, you know?
Well, also, legalism is a burden.
Yes.
And when it's self-imposed, it's not going to be a burden, and that's why it's holiness and
Right.
righteousness, is because we want that.
Right. And if
We're not required to do it. We have a zeal for it.
if it protects the sanctity of God's church,
Yeah.
why would we not do it?
Yeah.
You know?
That's good.
And if it becomes an idol, then that's when, because what happened with the Pharisees is that they placed the law above knowing Jesus face to face.
Yeah.
And that is why he condemned them for it. Versus,
Yeah.
what we're talking about here is upholding the purity of his church.
That's so good. In the part 2 of verse 9, the insults of those who insult you have fallen on me.
Mm-hmm.
I think about, like, this whole conversation in terms of also what we consume. And it's so easy to, like, if we like the song, it's so easy to just brush by if there's a small little thing that disregards God or disrespects God, something like that. Like, we should be sensitive to those things as well in shows, in movies, in music. Like, you insult my God, you insult me.
Yeah.
Attitude. And just seeing those things is, like, completely unacceptable.
Yeah. That's so good. And that is something that, especially in the culture we live in,
That convicts me. I'm feeling convicted about some things right now.
it's so good because a lot of people would look at that as legalism. Like, oh, you're not going to listen to this song because you're a Christian?
Yeah.
Like, what's wrong with you? It's
Exactly.
I'm a Christian.
Right.
And I believe in the way that Jesus says we should honor his church and his house.
Yeah.
And the Lord. And so, yeah, I'm doing this. Or I'm not doing this,
Yes. And it literally says, the next verse says, when I weep and fast, they scoff at me.
Yeah.
Like, when I'm sorrowful because the world says these things about God, and it obviously burdens me and sorrows me, like, I just see people,
Yes.
like, I see that attitude all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Really on social media more than,
Totally.
I don't really see it a lot face to face.
Yeah, I don't either, but definitely
But
on
definitely
social
on
media,
social media.
the
People's sincerity about God
is laughed at.
is laughed at.
Yes. And like it's called you're just too
And
much.
it's like, whoa, brainwashed.
Yes.
And it's like, no.
Oh wow, you're in a cult.
I'm just in love.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Hi.
Made in the image of God. Child of God.
Yes. Oh,
We can cut that out if we need
No,
to.
that's hilarious.
I don't want to get weird.
I was talking to Pastor Lake about this yesterday because I asked him, I was like, I said, if you were to describe to someone being 30 teenagers.
Someone what?
Being 30 teenagers.
Being 30.
Yeah, the someone that you're describing this to is 30 teenagers.
Oh, I get what you're saying. Your youth group.
Yes.
Yes.
If you were to describe this to someone, how would you describe what it takes to go from simply believing in God to loving God? Because love for God is what drives us to
Be obedient.
create. I was thinking about like the psalm that says, like, I will not lie down, I will not go to sleep until I find a dwelling place for you.
Mm-hmm.
And like, what does it take for us to?
Isn't that the Arise Shine? Or no, it's what Lee says about being a house of prayer. That's what it is.
But I was thinking like, okay, well, we should want to create a space for him every single day in our lives. And that should be our top priority. And how do we do that without love for him? Because if we don't love him, even if we believe in him and we believe in his goodness and all of these great things, but if we don't have deep love for God, why would we care about creating a sacred dwelling place for him in our lives?
Yeah, the love is like the motivation.
Yes.
It's like the gas in the car.
Yes, exactly. And I feel like that is kind of, it's the same idea with this where
So good.
so many people believe in God. Like, yeah, God's good. I go to church on Sundays. I do all of this. But if you have not spent the time building a relationship with him and cultivating love for God, then you are going to be one of those who scoffs when they are weeping and fasting. You know, because you don't weep and fast on behalf of the Lord in his house if you don't
love him, if you don't have some type of like warm affection.
Yes. And I told Blake, I was like, it makes me so sad. Like, I genuinely, like, I was tearing up. I was like, it makes me so sad that there are so many people in the world who don't understand how worth it that is.
Yeah.
Like, how worth it is to put in the work to build love for God. It's so worth it.
It is so worth it.
It makes everything better.
It makes everything different.
Yes.
You know, you're like, ugh, you just don't even know.
I would...
Not you, just you.
Yeah.
You know.
But I would so much rather be the one being scoffed at,
Yeah.
but have love for the Lord,
Yeah.
versus to be the scoffer and not know him in that way. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. They first hated him type thing.
Man.
That's so good. I don't even know how we got there. Oh, I know how we got
The
there.
zeal for your house will consume me.
Yeah.
I do think that
I am the favorite topic of town gossip, and all the drunks sing about me. What if that was our goal? Let's get some drunks to sing about us. Let's be crazy Jesus freaks.
Man. I always find it interesting that this passage where, you know, Jesus is flipping the tables and stuff, people tend to think about it more in terms of, oh, this shows that God can be an angry God, and less about this idea of zeal and passion for the house of the Lord.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's not like yeah, he was angry, but it wasn't necessarily that he was angry. It was that Jesus understood what God's house is supposed to be.
Right.
And he saw it being misused, and he did something about it, you know.
Well, it was, what was going on was unjust.
Yes.
And there's no world in which Jesus is not going to respond to something unjust or something that's defiling the Lord or his church or whatever. So
I think it's also important to understand like what was really happening in the temple that made him so mad, because I feel like I didn't fully understand this for a while. And I was talking to Jenny a while ago, and she like kind of explained it, and I was like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. Basically what these people are doing is they, within the temple courts, have the animals for sacrifice in the temple being sold for sacrifice in the temple. So basically they are profiting off of the holy sacrifices that people are supposed to bring to the Lord.
So let me just talk this out a little bit. So me as a Jewish person, I'm supposed to bring my own sacrifice from my own flock to the temple. But these people were selling them at the gates to just like make it easy. Is that what you're saying?
I think that's maybe part of it, but I mean there are also probably lots of people who aren't farmers or whatever and don't have their own livestock to do that. But I think the contempt that Jesus had for this is that there were people in the temple that is meant to be a holy place.
Maybe they were upcharging.
Yes, and this thing that is supposed to be a holy sacrifice unto the Lord, they are like, oh, how can I profit off this?
It about money.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And so Jesus is mad that they are profiting off the holiness of God. You know what I mean?
Isn't that crazy because Jesus paid the price?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes total sense. One of my notes says exploited.
Yes, they were exploiting the people bringing the sacrifices.
Yes, and it also makes me think of the word manipulate. Like you're trying to, like, I can just imagine like a really sleazy one, like saying like, if you can't afford this, like, how are you going to get forgiven?
Yeah.
Like, if you don't buy one of these and you don't have an animal to bring into the Holy
Yes,
of Holies or whatever, like,
I think that's
how
exactly
are you going to reach
happening.
your forgiveness? Like,
Right.
God's not going to, like, really, like, emotionally
Yes.
fear-based manipulation
And then
to make money.
Yes. And I think a lot of people
that's pretty
interpret
legit.
this as like, if you're selling any kind of goods in church, you're doing something wrong.
Right.
That's not what it's about.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to have a bookstore in your church,
You can have a bookstore.
Whatever,
And it
you
benefits
know?
Christian authors. And,
yeah, like it's
like, we had a store at one point in our church, and all the proceeds went to missions.
yeah, like churches do, like there's nothing wrong with that. Or like some churches have like a little coffee shop or something of that nature. And
Yeah, that's not
if
what this
they're
is talking
doing it
about.
right, those funds are going to feed some ministry.
Feed
within the
God's
church.
house.
Yes.
But this money was just going to the
This-
merchants, and they were
yes,
probably going home and with silver and gold
Right.
and getting drunk and doing
That
all
is the
things.
issue here,
Yeah.
is that they are profiting off of something that is meant to be holy unto the Lord.
Yeah, that's good. That's
So-
so good.
Yeah.
That's so good.
All right.
Love to hear it. Love to see it. That's pretty good. Any other, what else do you got?
And then he talks about the whole destroy this temple and I will raise it again in 3 days. And they were all like, it took us 46 years. What are you talking
And I was
about?
like, I'm the Son of God.
I'm going to die and then I will be back.
Yeah. Just be like, you think I'm talking about a temple? I'm not talking about a temple.
Oh, and then the very end of this, where it says, many people saw the signs he was performing and believed in his name, but Jesus would not entrust himself to them, for he knew all people. He did not need any testimony about mankind, for he knew what was in each person. So there were all these people who were believing in him because he was doing all these great signs and wonders. Mm-hmm. And it said he did not entrust himself to them. So he chose not to reveal that he was the Messiah, even though they were believing in all these great signs and wonders that he did, because he knew the hearts of the people, and he knew, well, they were only believing in me because of all these cool things I was doing. It's kind of like what you were talking. Like, I think this is one of those moments where we're seeing John's ability to understand that it's not about the things Jesus does, but the relationship he has with you.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah,
he
yeah,
chose
yeah.
not to entrust his full identity to all these people who were expressing belief in him, because they were only saying that because he was doing these signs and wonders.
Yeah.
They didn't know who he was or appreciate, like, the very real relationship that he could have with them. You know what I mean?
Oh, I don't want to be like that.
I know.
That's so good.
Um,
This is so meaty.
yeah.
I'm like, I really didn't think we were gonna...
I know. Spend an hour on it.
I really didn't think we were gonna spend an hour.
Yeah. But it's so good.
That is so good.
It is so good. For he knew what was in each person. I love that line. He did not need any testimony about mankind, for he knew. He's like, I don't need you guys to tell me how you are, who you are. I already know.
Yeah.
And I'm not telling you who I am, because you're not worthy.
Mm-hmm. The Son of God knows all about human nature. Jesus was well aware of the truth of Jeremiah 17:9. The human heart is the most deceitful of all things, and desperately wicked. Who really knows how bad this is, or how bad it is? Jesus was discerning, and he knew that the faith of some followers was superficial. Some of the same people claiming to believe in Jesus at this time would later yell, "Crucify him." It's easy to believe when it's exciting, and everyone else believes the same way. But keep your faith firm, even when it isn't popular to follow Christ. That's really good.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it.
There you have it. 25 verses of goodness. John chapter 2.
That was good. There's not a lot of things that I love more than seeing references to David in Jesus' time.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I eat that up.
Yeah. Well, David was meant to be...
David was like pre-Jesus.
An
like,
Old
like
Testament representation of...
Yeah.
Like, that's why a lot of people say, you know, in the story of David and Goliath, we aren't supposed to see ourselves as David defeating Goliath. We're supposed to see ourselves as the Israelites who are cowering in fear while David goes and does it for them.
Yeah, you're not right.
Because
I mean, yeah, you are right. Yeah.
David is the representation of Christ saving.
Fighting for us.
Yes.
Yeah. It's so good. Yay!
All right. Well,
a couple weeks from now, we'll be talking about Nicodemus, which is also
so good.
It's very, the conversation that he has with Nicodemus is very mysterious.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it, because it's a lot of, like, metaphors and just really fun to get into. So
I also think that Jesus probably, I mean, this is a little preview, but I feel like Jesus probably had a lot of fun with that conversation because Nicodemus was so theologically knowledgeable.
Yeah.
And so Jesus could speak to him in a way that he probably couldn't have spoken to, like, the masses and all his disciples even, because Nicodemus had an understanding for, like, scripture and these theological concepts and, like...
But even Nicodemus still didn't understand.
Right.
Born again?
What are you talking
You mean
about?
I have to go back in my mother's womb? No. You know.
No, Nicodemus, come on, get with it.
Yeah, that's good.
So it's going to be a fun
I'm
conversation.
so excited. Well, thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
We are so excited to dive into John 3 next time. And we hope you guys have a great week. If you could like, share, and subscribe, that would be so helpful.
Yeah.
And we'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.